Hi everyone, my name's Cathy. Welcome to Skint Living UK. Today I wanted to talk about governments. Get a photo bomb by my cat. Yeah, and how they keep you poor and keep you in your place. This has been sparked by the oncoming storm that is Donald Trump, the orange one, who, like Hiya, just wants to asset strip, save himself and make the poor poorer, including the middle class. It's not just the working class anymore. They're coming for all of us. We had 14 years of Tory austerity where they stripped everything, all public services, and now they want our NHS to be privatised as well, of which sections are already. So I feel for the Americans at the moment because they've realised they've voted for someone who doesn't have their best interests at heart, and they have voted for someone voted against their own interests. We had the same, but we had 14 years. At least you've only got, is it 4? We had 14. There's nothing left. All our public services are not on the knees. They're gasping the last breath on the floor. So let's go back to this. How do governments keep you poor and in your place? They have 4 methodologies. I've read into this widely and I'm just trying to make it brief, even though I'm sorry. The first one is to keep you misinformed. As we know, mainstream media only serves the people at the top, doesn't serve anybody else. They're full of rhetoric, they're always looking for a villain. Here in the 70s and 80s, it was people who were unemployed. Later into the 80s, it was gay people. 90s and early 2000s, it was single parents. And now it's immigrants. They always have to have a villain. Rather than the public realising the villain is them, they're blaming pockets of society as the fall guy. So no doubt you'll get all that when he's back in power again. So I know you know this anyway, try and stay away from mainstream media. I'm glad there's the death of the newspaper, because as the boomer generation die off, newspapers will go with them. Because young people, even Gen Xers, who reads a newspaper? Not really. You're going to pay 2-3 quid for some rubbish that ends up in the trash anyway, and it's just full of misinformation. The next pillar is keeping you in fear. So misinformation reinforces this, keeps you in fear. So people are going to university thinking it's a way of opting out, getting themselves out of poverty. I did this. I went to university to get myself out of poverty. I had 5 student loans. I've paid off 4. I'm down to 1. But I'm 58 this year, and I'm still paying student loans. I don't think they're as big as the American student loans are. When I was at university, it was $3,000 a year, and clearly it's 9, and they want to put it up to as much as 13 a year now, plus your living expenses as well. So university is no longer an option for a lot of people, which is what they want. They don't want ordinary people going to university. They want you to stay in your place and do as you're told. When you're fearful, you're less likely to take risks. You'll stay in your dead-end job, poorly paid, put up with the rubbish from your manager or your boss. Because you're scared you're going to lose your job anyway. You're less likely to start a business. You're less likely to invest in other things, including yourself and education, because you just won't have the money. Next pillar is keeping you poor. So because you're misinformed, you're staying in your place. Woo! Knock the camera down. Because you're fearful, you're staying in your place. And this creates a situation of keeping you poor. You can't afford not to move away from your job. And if you're being paid next to nothing, you can't afford quality food, for example. You can't afford quality housing. If you do pay a mortgage here, because of Liz Truss, despite what she says, she did cause the crash. Woo! My cat keeps knocking and everything, and everyone's paying the vast majority of the money in rent and mortgages. So they say that most people are up to about 40%. I think it's more. In the 2017 to 20, was paying nearly 90% of my income on my mortgage. I was an agency worker, supply teacher, and because work was erratic, I'm getting less and less and less because they like the newer ones coming in. I was getting less work and deeper into debt, and with council tax as well, which is local tax that we have here. So because you're poor, you're stressed, depressed, anxious, maybe drinking too much, smoking too much. And what does that lead to? The last pillar, keeping you sick. If you're sick, and it cuts down your options even more because you're unable to work as long or even at all. You might end up even in more debt. Credit card debt is on the uprise even more now. End up at the food bank. In the UK food bank, you can only use it 3 times, and that's your lot. And it's mostly tin food. If you're lucky, you might get a bag of veggies. But people are turning the veggies down because they can't afford to cook it from scratch because the veggies take too long to cook. So there was an article in the Telegraph, also known locally as the Tory Graph, who were condemning people from food banks not taking the vegetables. They can't afford to cook them. It takes too long to cook. So all I can say is knowledge is power. Try and change your mindset. If they're telling you something, presume they're lying and go and investigate, do your own research yourself, because they probably are. So the 4 pillars that are keeping you broke, keeping you sad and miserable, depressed, strung out. The 4 pillars of control are misinformation, fear, keeping you poor, and making you sick. I know, it's bad, isn't it? So let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, share and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks so much for watching.